Final point, safety and security. That's our fourth goal. So 50% of minicab drivers have been assaulted at work. What's been done about it? Nothing. 73% have been threatened with violence on the job. What's been done? Nothing. 83% of us in London have been victims of some kind of racist hate talk, hate speech. Hands up if it's happened to you. Has somebody said something about your religion, your colour, your skin at work? Right, most of us. 83% have reported that to be the case. It's even happened to me when I'm Irish. I was called an Irish, see you next Tuesday. And it's kind of funny, but it's kind of not. Because nobody's nationality, colour, religion should be used in anger. It's unacceptable abuse and it's illegal. So we must report those things and we must get on top of it. But more importantly than that, Transport for London, the taxi trade and even the operators scapegoat us. They say we're not to be trusted. We're the sex predators. We're the thieves. We're the dishonest ones. Even Uber. Uber is policing its platform. You all know this. You all know somebody has been deactivated recently, right? And that's because Uber need to show that they're policing the platform. It doesn't matter whether you're guilty. It doesn't matter whether you're innocent. All that matters is that somebody's been sacrificed. Somebody's been offered up. That's what's going on. You have no rights, and Transport for London are happy to play this game because they need to be shown to be enforcing as well. So Uber needs to be shown to be policing its platform, TfL needs to be shown to be kicking arse, and you're the victim. No, there is such a thing as due process, and we must insist upon it. We must protect our rights at all times, because you know how devastating it would be to be accused of something that is sex-related when you're entirely innocent. It could ruin your life. It could drive people to suicide. So we must insist on due process. And more than that, we must insist on our own protection as well. Let me give you an example. Back in 2015, I was assaulted on the job driving for Uber. I reported it to the police. Police went to Uber. It took Uber 10 weeks to identify that passenger to the police. I was not an activist, I was not a union member until that happened to me. Because I realized when I read the contract that I'm on my own. Uber has no incentive here. Uber has no reason to protect me. And you know what I thought? If I had a screwdriver in the back of the head and I was lying in hospital on life support, Uber and TfL would have behaved just the same way. They would not care, because we are disposable people to them. They just want your license fee and that's it. Well, that's not good enough. And you know, Uber has said things have changed. TfL says things have changed. Well, one of our London committee members, thank goodness he had CCTV, everybody should have CCTV. But one of our London committee members had an incident up in Camden a couple of months ago, in June actually. Passenger wouldn't leave the vehicle, cancelled the job en route. It was an absurd job, and they hit cancel. Because they didn't, you know why, right? They didn't want to pay the surge fare, and then they wanted to pay cash for the rest of the journey. And he rightly said, I'm sorry ladies, I can't do that. It's illegal, that's how I lose my license. I cannot do that. You need to leave the vehicle and rebook. They wouldn't leave the vehicle, then became abusive with him, and then said if they left the vehicle and were raped, it was his fault. You see how quickly this thing became sexualized? Right? All of a sudden sex is in play. If he doesn't drive him, he's a rapist. If he does drive him, he's a rapist too, I guess, right? So they called the police. He called the police. Police would not attend, and they did advise the passenger to leave the vehicle. Eventually, after wasting about an hour of his time, they left the vehicle and then wrenched off each of the 3 wipers on his brakes, back window and the 2 front ones. Now that's hundreds of pounds worth of damage. They ripped the whole thing out. 7 weeks later, he reported to the police immediately. Then a few weeks, the police were encouraging him to drop it. Why? Why should he drop it? Police load is high, right? Police have got a lot of work to do. You really want to push this? What's the point? That's the police. Because they're underfunded, they're under-resourced, and by the way, you're only a minicab driver. So let's just drop this whole thing, right? He said, no, I'm going to carry on with this. 7 weeks, and Uber have not identified that passenger to the police. Right? This is the everyday reality. We reported to Transport for London, they say nothing to do with us. Now, if it's a criminal matter involving a passenger, they're all over it like a cheap suit. But if it's a criminal matter involving you as a victim, do not want to know. That, my friends, we have to change. Because if we have to take the safeguarding responsibility for our passengers, if we have to accept the regulatory burden that goes with that, that if you get it wrong, you could be criminalized. If you get it wrong, you lose a job. And even if you don't get it wrong, as Uber said in Magistrates Court a couple of weeks ago, from now on, none of us are going to get the benefit of the doubt with Uber. You're going to be off the platform. Anything is said, you're gone. Because they don't owe you anything, and by the way, they've got to protect their license with TfL. So anything is said, and now there's a paper trail, you're gone. We're not going to spend a lot of time investigating and whatever. Bye-bye, you're gone. So please, get yourself CCTV immediately if you don't have it. And don't get the cheap one, make sure it's recorded for multiple weeks. But that's why we've got to turn the tables over. Fine. As part of being a minicab driver, we have to accept that responsibility. Okay. But then we expect to be protected in just the same way. We expect the same level of protection, respect, and courtesy from the police and transport. So those are our four main demands that our committee have decided upon. We need, number one, protection of our worker rights. Insist upon it. And insist that Transport for London get involved and do it, not be part of the problem. Number two, a fair share of the cost burden. My friends, Uber pay £11 a year per car and driver. You spend about £234 a car and driver. We have about equal economic extraction. You tell me how that's fair. It's not fair. Collectively, all minicab drivers versus all operators, we're still paying twice as much in licensed income to TfL than all the operators combined. Twice as much. That's the burden we have, and yet we've no say. That burden needs to be shifted across to the operators. And the congestion charge, I'm afraid, is the last straw. Number three, we need trade union recognition. We deserve trade union recognition. Trade unions are there to protect you, to look after you, to fight for you. And anybody who does not want to respect our trade union representation does not respect you. Don't forget.
That's right. Yep.
And number four, we want protection on the job. It is unacceptable that we have to carry such responsibility with criminal liability if you get it wrong. But then the criminal justice system comes after it, does not protect us when we're the victim. No, that's not good enough. Those are the four demands. Those are the things we'll keep fighting for until we make some progress. But I hope you will join the union, not just to join this fight, but to protect yourself, to protect your community, to protect, frankly, our self-respect. Because we are hard-working people, we are the people that keep this city moving. We deserve respect, and we will keep going until we get what we deserve. I went on way, way, way too long. I think maybe time to hand over to Yaseen. Mohammed at the back should speak also. Mohammed? Come on up here.
James,
as well.
I need you to let the members know that we have a two demonstration coming, 13th September and 31st of October, before you step down, please.
Yeah, so on September 13th at City Hall for Mayor's Question Time, we really need you there. Because we show our strength in numbers, right? There's two types of power in this world. There's money and there's people. Money power and people power. We know who's got the money. We know who's got the money. We also know who has the people. It's us. It's us. It's that simple. You show up. You show up as hard-working minority people trying to make an honest living in this town. You show up and say you've had enough. Do you know how embarrassing that is to the mayor, to the establishment, to the power brokers in this city? This is why TfL don't want to hear from you, because this is embarrassing. Now you need to show up and reclaim that. If you don't show up, you send the signal, carry on. Carry on, because nobody cares, not even us. So please show up. Show up, embarrass them. Let's keep this thing going until we get the action we deserve. September 11th, City Hall, SE12AA is the postcode. Be there. It's really important. 11:15, City Hall, September 13th. And then, Henry, do we have a date for the October March?
31st.
It's 30th of October.
Is it the 30th? The court case is 30th and 31st, but I don't know if we have announced the date yet. Yeah. Well, the Uber case is the 30th and the 31st, but our March. Have we scheduled that yet?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
We will update you. Thanks to James.
That's it. Well, could we have a few words from Mohammed?
Yeah.
And Yaseen? Yeah.